So we submitted our application on March 1st, and by May 16, we received a ready for visa email from the Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada. Yes, you heard that right. It only took 2 months to process our application for permanent residency, also known as PR. And in today's video, I'm going to guide you through all the 10 steps that we took from gathering all the required documents to receiving our stamp passport. Make sure to stick around till the end. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Francine. My family of 7 has recently relocated to Canada, and I'll be making video about family, immigration, and life in Canada. So first of all, big thank you to my wonderful 500 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button for more inspiring content. So before I start, I have a disclaimer. I am not an immigration consultant, and everything I'm sharing today is based on my personal experience. So please do your own research to make the best decision for your situation. With that being said, let's get started. So first things first, if you've ever thought of immigrating to Canada or to any other country in the world, you would first need to find the right immigration pathway for you. There are so many pathways to legally immigrate to Canada, but we went through the express entry, which I'm going to focus on in this video. So start by visiting the Government of Canada official website. On this page, you will find all the information about the express entry program, and you can even choose to switch to the French version of the website if you find that helpful. So in simple terms, the express entry is a point-based, rewarding factors like your age, your education, your language, and your professional experience. So if you go back to the same website and check the program, the Express Entry program, so let's check the minimum requirements. These are the key elements that you are going to find. At least 1 year of work experience in an in-demand occupation, the language proficiency, the foreign education credential for those who started in other country other than Canada, and proof of sufficient fund. So for those really interested in this program or other immigration pathways, I would recommend doing your own research, going to the website and find the information for yourself, because there's so much information that I can share in this video. As mentioned in the introduction, the processing time for our PR applications only took 2 months. But the important detail here is that there are some crucial steps that we took to make the process much smoother. Now let's dive into the 10 steps. So the first step that we took was the education credential assessment, which is used to verify that your foreign degree, diploma or certificate is valid and equal to a Canadian one. For those with foreign qualifications, the RCC requires education credential assessment, and they do accept those from specific organizations. So for me, I went with the WES, the World Education Services. I created an account, requested transcript from my school, and had them sent directly to WES. And this step can take several weeks or months, depending on your institution or the country where you are sending them from, if not sending them electronically. Step number 2 was the language assessment. As I mentioned earlier, this is one of the requirements. And to meet the language requirement, you'll need to achieve minimum scores in writing, reading, listening, and speaking. Canada is bilingual. You can take the test in English or French or both to earn extra points. And remember, this is a point-based system. I initially took the IELTS, the British version, but wasn't satisfied with the result. So I decided to try the Canadian version. And since there were no testing centers available in the city where I was living, I had to fly to New York, but it was worth it because I ended up with better scores. And to further maximize our points, my husband and I also took the French language test. Although we come from a French-speaking country, the test, especially the reading, was surprisingly challenging. At first, we underestimated the difficulty of the test and didn't prepare adequately. As a result, our initial scores were disappointing. So after dedicating more time to preparation,
where he took the test and achieved strong scores across all 4 abilities.
By the way, for the French test, we had to drive 4 hours.
Yes, we had to drive 4 hours to get to the nearest testing center. So you may need to check if and where the French tests are offered in your location. So the key tip here is don't underestimate the language test. Even if you use the language daily, they can be tricky, and thorough preparation is essential for success.
So step number 3, but this can even be the first step, was to save money for a proof of fund. You have to ensure that you have enough savings to meet the Canadian financial requirement. And if you go back to the same website,
you'll notice that a single applicant needs at least 14,690 Canadian dollars. Adjust that amount accordingly based on your family size. So if you have a family of 2, 3, or up to 7, those are the amount. And you can do the math for any additional member to find the exact amount for your proof of fund.
And speaking of finances, remember that the proof of fund is the amount that you're expected to have in your account by the time you're landing in Canada, but you still need money for the entire process, including for your trip to Canada. So step number 4 was obtaining the police certificate.
Some people are required to get a police clearance as part of the process, and if so, you'd need clearance from every country you've lived in for 6 months or more over the past 10 years. So in our case, we required police certificate from US and from our home country. And this requirement is applied to any family member over 18. Important detail here is that at the time of submitting your application, you should make sure that the police clearance is still valid because they can expire after 6 months.
So moving on step number 5. Step number 5 was making sure that we have valid travel documents.
Check that your passports are valid. Ours were nearing the expiration date, so we renew them before creating the profile. And according to the information found on the Canadian government's website, the travel document should be renewed if expiring within 6 months from the time the application is submitted. So that was our step number 5.
So our step number 6 was to create the express entry profile with everything ready, the WACE evaluation, the language test results. We were ready to create the express entry profile, and by February 1st we received the invitation to apply, and that led us to step number 7. So step number 7 was to submit the application. After receiving the invitation, we had up to 60 days to submit the application. We uploaded all the required documents:
proof of fund, work experience, police clearances, and identification for each family member.
But to save time, we prepared all the documents even before we received the invitation to apply, so that by the time we received the invitation, we were ready to submit our applications.
So key tip here is don't wait until you receive the invitation to start gathering the information. After creating the profile, you can start gathering the necessary document. For example, if you have to go to the bank to get the letter, do it. You can reach out to your current or former supervisors for the job experience you are claiming points for. So this will help you to be in a position to apply as soon as you receive the invitation.
So step number 8 was to complete our medical exam and the fingerprint. We waited for the instructions on where and when to complete our medical exam and our fingerprint, and we received both instructions the same day, and we were able to complete our medical exam in 1 day.
So one thing I want to mention about fingerprint is that these are different from the police clearance I talked about on step number 4. And the fingerprints were required for most family members apart from the youngest.
Step number 9 was to submit our passport and photos. Wait for that ready for visa email. Other people call it the golden email, to follow all the instructions on when and where to submit your passport.
And one tip here is ensure photos meet the Canadian requirement. Our first set were mailed back to the US. They did not meet the requirement. So make sure you go to a professional studio, which is recommended, and get those photos based on the Canadian requirement.
Step number 10 was receiving our stamped passport. So finally, with everything completed, we received our passport with a Canadian PR visa stamp, an unforgettable moment. And that's it, the entire process step by step. Please let me know in the comments what you think about our journey and which step seems the most challenging to you. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content about life, immigration, and life in Canada. I hope to catch you in my next one. Bye for now.